What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to take a look at some of the design differences between selling print-on-demand t-shirts on Amazon merch versus Etsy, because I don't know if anybody else has kind of stepped back and taken a look, but there really does appear to be sort of styles that resonate more with customers on each specific platform. So we're going to evaluate that today. Let's get to it. So here is how I laid out my presentation. I have Amazon merch on the left, Etsy on the right, and in the middle, I'll put some products that I feel like kind of toe the line between both platforms and how you might go about designing for one versus the other. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is the nursing niche. So you can see with Amazon merch on the left, we have and this is not meant to be definitive, okay? But when you just kind of scan through the bestsellers, we know that the bigger, like bolder designs, the ones that pop in the merch thumbnail, they tend to do really well. Also, the vintage retro sunset style designs, we know that those also tend to do well. So you can see there, that's what's doing well on Amazon merch. Also, you're going to see a lot of black t-shirts on merch because we know if we make the black color available, that's what's going to be shown in the primary thumbnail. On the right-hand side here, you can see, like, I'm not saying, again, it's not definitive, but on Etsy, you can get away with, like, really simple designs, right? Like a little cursive spelling of the word nurse with the heart. Underneath, you have like EKG and some, some not, like, bold in-your-face font, but simple text, and it's not so big that it flies off the shirt. Relatively straightforward, relatively simple. And then in the middle, something that will work on both platforms, you can see kind of a neutral color scheme. Some aspects that are I don't know what to call it, like the Amazon merch style with the nurse or emergency kind of spelling in the background. And then the simple word that's kind of overlaid in the middle in a script font, labor and delivery or emergency nurse there. Let me know your thoughts, by the way. I'd love to hear what you think. Is there such a thing as a different way to go about designing for Amazon versus Etsy? Obviously, one big difference is that, on Amazon, you don't get to really do anything with your primary thumbnail. And on Etsy, you can make any customizations you want to that primary thumbnail. And I always say on Amazon, you have to have the white background, which contrasts well against a darker colored t-shirt. So you see more people selling the dark colored shirts. And I think on Etsy, you can get more light colored shirts. Anyways, here we go. Amazon merch, left-hand side. Again, utilizing pretty much all of the design canvas space with graphics, with text. The color schemes are more bold and like almost like animations that you could put on a web page or something, or on like a flyer. Whereas on Etsy, it's almost like a little bit more muted, a little bit more cohesive. In both of these examples, the color scheme was just a background colored shirt and a foreground color without mixing and matching a bunch of different colors. And then there in the middle, I thought those two would probably work both on Amazon and Etsy because they're both like kind of bigger designs, but also at the same time simplistic in nature, not like too vibrant. The next design is looking into like Black History Month. And you can see on the left-hand side, again, a lot of different colors that pop, really bigger, bolder designs on the Amazon merch side. On the Etsy side here, these are designs that could probably do well on Amazon just as well. But again, you're not competing for all the attention from a bunch of very similar thumbnails with the exact same t-shirt, with just different designs overlaid. That's the Amazon side. On Etsy, you can do whatever you want with your thumbnails. So you've got designs that, again, aren't trying as hard to scream off of the screen, and I think are just a little bit simpler in most regards. In the middle, you see like the nutritional facts. We know that can do well on both websites. And on the bottom there, text-only design, really just two-tone, I would say. You got like a gold gradient and then white text. But I think those would do well on either site. Next up, it's fantasy football designs. And on the left-hand side for Amazon merch, you can see, like, again, not afraid of mixing it up with some crazy color schemes. And that being said, on Etsy, you could probably do the same shirt. I just don't know how many customers go to Etsy over Amazon to find like a funny pink unicorn I suck at fantasy football shirt, right? On the right-hand side, though, more or less, I would say almost like, geared towards like women wearing it. You even see like a woman in the primary thumbnail at the top. More simplistic approach to fantasy football, you know, and I always think like the guy side. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to make it about guy versus girl, but obviously, like if you broke down the analytics for who's watching the NFL and who's playing fantasy football, it leans more one way than the other. And I think of the guy side, I think more of like the bottom left t-shirt with the unicorn on the pink shirt that says I suck at fantasy football. You know what I mean? Coming together on draft day, drinking some beers, talking smack to each other. And on the right hand side here under Etsy, it's almost like the opposite of that. It's more like the, hey, like I'm enjoying watching football, but I'm not getting crazy. You know, we have this, the design version of that where, you know, the top one just says set your lineups with a football and it's only one color scheme. The bottom there, I actually like that design, the bracket style, me versus you, and then me advancing. I actually think that's a nice, simple design. I really appreciated that one. And then in the middle there, two designs that I think could do well. The one at the top, obviously a bigger design than most of the ones we've seen on Etsy, and the one at the bottom there, probably like towing the line right in the middle of what would work on either platform, well, in an optimal sense. Real quick reminder, I have a free print-on-demand mini course. It's linked in the description if you want to check it out. All I need is your email address, and I'll send you one lesson a day for 8 days. Also down there, you can find a link to my Amazon merch Facebook group. I'd love to have you there if you're not already a member. All right, next example, we're looking at dog shirts, okay? On the left-hand side, kind of what, this is honestly, if I had to choose one that illustrates the best, in my mind, gap in approach to design between merch and Etsy, it'd probably have to be this one. So you can see on the left-hand side there, truly like pictures, animated pictures of dogs doing well, big pictures too, that you really like. I mean, when they're printed in real life, it may be too big. I've said this before, but it's like, since we can't control how our thumbnails and our products are framed on Amazon merch, it's almost like you're playing the game by understanding like that you need to get clicked in search results before you worry about the shirt getting printed, because if nobody buys it, it won't get printed. So you do it a certain way. And on Etsy, it's like, no, you can make the design small. It can be text only because you can zoom in, right? Because we control the thumbnail and we don't have to have it on a white background. So this slide, I think, does a good job kind of mixing the two. And down the middle, again, at the bottom there, I don't know why. I think that neutral color scheme, one big word in the background with the variable colors that are complementary, and then the word mom in a script font in the middle with the dog paw. I think that could do well on merch and Etsy. And at the top there, you could see like a gradient overlaid on the text Chihuahua Mama with a Chihuahua silhouette in the middle. I think that would do well on both. All right, here we go. Tacos. I just looked up tacos on the left-hand side. Again, what you would expect to see on Amazon. Just big, bold in your face, some distressed fonts even. I don't think you see as many distressed fonts on Etsy, for instance. So that's one that I would say is a difference. On the right-hand side here, tacos and titties on Etsy, but a simple text-only design, small but zoomed in. And see, that's another thing, guys. You got to make sure people can read your text if you're going to put text in the design. I say this all the time to people. I'm saying it one more time here. So if you heard it now, just remember this one. Write it down if you take notes. They have to be able to read the text from the thumbnail. No one's going to click and zoom in. Like, everybody's time is way too important. So you got to make sure that they can just see it at a glance, know what it is, know what it says, and move on. All right. You can see in this example right here over my shoulder, even though it's a like tiny text script font, thin font, not bold at all. Like, even though it's nothing about it is making it easier to read, they still zoomed in enough where you can see it's a t-shirt and you can read the text, right? It's simple. And in the middle there, they have the pocket design up top. The pocket designs seem to do really well on Etsy, probably not as well on Amazon merch, just because, again, you can't control the thumbnail. And at the bottom there, a kind of a bigger, bolder design, but not too much where I think it, leans over more towards Amazon merch. No more tacos, no more tacos. Punctuation matters. No, comma, more tacos versus no more tacos. I love that. And monotone design. All right, I think this might be the last one here. Here we go. So kind of teacher style designs, and basically more of what we would expect on the right-hand side there with Etsy. The multicolor sort of bold font with the script font over top. On the bottom there, some flowers and text that kind of goes up and down. Curved, asymmetrical design, hard to execute. And if you're going to go that route, you got to make sure that thumbnail's really doing everything possible to show off the design itself, because that's what people are buying. On the left-hand side, you got Amazon merch, no flexibility with the thumbnail, so it's got to be the design that does all the talking, and you see just that with, at the bottom, the color scheme popping, the font selection popping, the contrast of just the font size against itself, actually, too. All those little things matter. You know, yeah, the addition of graphics, the pencil, the apple, the star, and at the top there too, a crazy math equation. I have no clue how that dude did that person did the design there. But the big bold text above and below, symmetrical design, obviously. Oh, one more. So here you go. Anime style design. This one I think is actually pretty similar on both sites, because anime by nature is just you know, the graphics themselves, right? But you got what you expected there on the left-hand side. Colorful, bolder style designs, even though there's no text on the right-hand side. Still like nice, colorful, bold designs, but slightly more muted on Etsy, which I think is more or less the what you're typically used to seeing over there. And then in the middle, kind of a mix of graphic plus text. And again, it's not, neither of them are overbearing the way that you would say that some of these Amazon designs are. So I think that's a good like middle ground. So let me know what you think, guys. Is this something you were aware of? I mean, I didn't even really talk about too, that a lot of the colors that do well on Etsy might be lighter colors, whereas on Amazon, you might see more darker colored shirts and designs being optimized for the darker colored shirts. Whereas Etsy, you'd flip it, you'd optimize for light colored shirts in your design themselves, in your color selections, etc. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Guys, thanks for watching. Check out my full Amazon merch course. If you're selling on Amazon merch and you would like my help in increasing your sales, you can find that in the description. It is linked down there. And my private community, I do a weekly live stream and weekly office hours. It's the easiest way to get in touch with me and help me help you. If you're interested, it's 40% off. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video.